Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Brian Capra from Billing Precision. I am really happy to have on the phone today with us Dr. Miles Bodzin. Many of you probably already have heard about him, and if not, I'm happy to bring this to you because this is just a great chiropractor doing a lot for the profession and has an awesome product, which I've used myself, and I know hundreds, if not thousands, of chiropractors are using it across the country. One of the things we're going to talk about today quickly is the going cash thing that's out there. And I know, again, unique to who you are, you started a wellness practice out in San Diego, and I know that about you. I've been out to San Diego to visit that beautiful weather you guys have out there. And so you had this wellness practice, and you were mostly going cash, and you realized that there was a necessity to simplify the process. And I'm just reiterating what I've learned from you. And then that is where what your company called Cash Practice, if you haven't heard of his, Dr. Bodzin's company, it's called Cash Practice, cashpractice.com. That's where the necessity you felt came in for making life simple to run a cash practice. So if you want to tell a little bit about that and then give us your top 5 bullet points on what you think a practice should do when they're thinking about going cash.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of, an interesting story how Cash Practice started, and I'll try to keep it brief for you guys. That was, a lot of things start, they say, on accident, or they start in a garage, type of thing. Well, Cash Practice started on my sofa. Literally, I was in practice saying I need to create a simple way of implementing some of the procedures that I put in my practice, putting people on plans of care and et cetera, which we'll get into in these top 5 tips in a moment. So I decided, hey, let me pull out my computer skills, which I hadn't touched in some time, and create some tools for myself, which I did. And the intention was just to create them for myself to use in practice, which I did. And this was back in the mid-90s. And at that time, if you recall, eBay was kind of hitting the world at that time. And I was I hate to say, I don't want to say addicted to eBay, but I was spending some time on eBay, and I was buying a lot of stuff, and I said, hey, I should have some stuff I could sell on here. So I asked myself the question, what could I sell? And for fun, I said, oh, I had the software stuff that I created. Let me put it on there and see what happens. And I did. And I put it on eBay, and within a couple of months, we had several hundred doctors who bought a copy of the software. And to my amazement, the feedback I got was pretty remarkable. This was a very simple tool that I created, and the feedback I was getting from doctors was that this was a really cool thing. It was helping them a lot. They were having great success with it, of signing people up for care. It made it real easy for them. So it dawned on me, being, having a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit, that I said, I have something here that our profession can use, and I have this deep desire to help other chiropractors. So let me go ahead and run with this. So literally sitting on my sofa, I knocked out the first version of cashpractice.com, the website. Within about a month, I got the first version up, and it's been through many upgrades since then. But the original version was powerful in itself, in that you were able to create these plans, and we started enrolling people in service, and we've continued to develop the website in the last 7-8 years to the point now where we have nearly 1,000 clients, and we have a headquarters, and we have a whole team of staff, of over 10 staff back here helping our clients, and it's grown into a full-size enterprise now. And it's a lot of fun. We have, not just the doctors, but I know for a fact we've had nearly 200,000 patients enrolled in care as a result of the service we provide, and it's been phenomenal. So that's again the thumbnail sketch of the creation of Cash Practice.
Okay.
The cliff note.
I think it might be a good idea if we kind of quickly review some of the main features that you guys have in the system. Obviously, it's evolved, and I know you have like the email and all that. So maybe you could tell them quickly about the features you have, and then we'll go right into the top 5 tips that you have.
Sure. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you there. The features of Cash Practice, it's the best way of thinking about it. There's 3 modules. It's one system, as Cash Practice Systems implies. It's a system, a whole bunch of systems, but it's designed to all use together. And the 3 modules are as following. The first module is called the Cash Plan Calculator, and the feature it provides is the ability to create customized payment plans. Payment plans. Cash plans that people enroll in care. These compliant programs that basically it produces the actual agreement that you print off that the patient signs. It's customized for your practice. It has all the services laid out, all the compliant discounts. And I just want to mention, at this time right now, we're just about to release a new version of that software, of that system, version 4, because we've done a complete update to include integration with I'm not sure if you're familiar with the company Chiro Health USA with Dr. Ray Foxworth. We've actually integrated his program into the software so that you're able to apply his network discounts, and you can learn more about that. We have some other sources for that, but that increases your compliance. It's really it's a remarkable combination. So that's the first system, is the cash plan calculator module. The second system, the feature that it provides, is the ability to do payment processing, one-time payments, recurring payments. Auto debit is really the primary purpose of that, as you'll hear when we talk about my top 5 tips about using auto debits. And then the third feature that it has is the Drip Ed system, which what it brings, that's the name of it, but the feature it gives you is the ability to do emails and marketing through and education through email campaigns. So it's that combination together that the 3 modules put together. So literally in one step, you're able to enroll a patient in care, produce their agreement, schedule all their payments, assign a campaign of emails, and literally in one step, you're able to accomplish all that. And the main benefit it's providing to an office, besides mentioning the features, is it's streamlining things for you, it's automating your collections, and it's saving you a ton of money. I mean, in the average practice, we did a survey and we found we're actually finding that on average, we're saving an office about 40 hours of payroll per month when they use our system. Wow. When people say, what does it cost to use a system? Well, it doesn't cost you anything. It actually saves you. And as my good friend Garrett Gunderson, the author of New York Times best-selling author of Killing Sacred Cows, recently was sharing with me, he goes, it's a total investment. It totally makes sense to spend money on this because it's actually saving you money and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah. So from the standpoint of the features and benefits, I think that's primarily it. And there's probably others we can dig into, but I think those are the key ones.
Yeah, if you really get into the system, there's a lot of little nooks and crannies, even with the email capture system and all that. But let's roll into your top 5. What are if I'm a chiro looking to collect cash only, or even just going majority cash, or just trying to do care plans, you can do insurance as well. But what's your top 5?
Right now, the first one I'm going to mention is you got to do long-term care plans with your patients. You got to put people on programs, or you got at least recommend programs of 6, 8, 12 months of care. You can't be doing a practice that's, let me see you for a couple of months to see how you do. If your practice model is a relief care model, you're going to have a real challenge with doing cash. So the first thing I'm going to say is you got to be doing long-term care plans, which implies you're doing corrective work and you're doing wellness care. That's what it implies by saying long-term. So that's top tip number 1. Top tip number 2 is you got to go ahead and put people on these plans and give them a payment choice. So the second tip is don't just say I'm putting people on plans and they got to prepay, because what's common in our profession is that when people say they're doing cash programs, what they're actually saying is I have people prepay for care. The top tip number 2 is give people a choice. Let them either prepay, but more commonly what they'll choose is to do some form of monthly payments, where they'll either do it monthly or they'll do a down payment followed by monthly. So the third tip I'm going to give you is that you want to make sure that you're giving these payment options when they're doing monthly payments, that you automate the process, that you're not asking them to pull out their wallet once a month or give you their credit card once a month or write you a check, or God forbid you're mailing them a statement in the mail or a bill in the mail. We want to stop reminding them that they're paying you, sort of like the gyms do. Same concept is you want to automate the process. We have definitely seen there's a direct correlation with the more often you have someone touch the money in your practice or think about the money, the lower your retention. So you want to, if you want to have high retention, you got to eliminate people from thinking about the money. And the only way to really do that is to automate it. And you want to make it so that the decisions to continue with care are not difficult. And that's the challenge with prepays, I'll just mention real quick, is that when people prepay, when it comes time to renew, it's a big decision. And we want to eliminate that. That's the challenge with prepays. The third tip I'm going to give you is you want to go ahead and educate patients consistently. You want to consistently educate them so that it's not just I educate them during a report of findings and try to convince them to get it under care. It's in my practice, I don't really even start the education process until after they've enrolled in care. But you have to consistently do it, and it has to be at the same consistent message. So whatever the message is in your practice is what you want to pick. But in my practice, as an example, the message is you get adjusted to stay healthy. That's my message that I teach over and over and over in as many different ways as possible. It's not about the nervous system. It's not about all the things that we typically talk about in chiropractic, although I do talk about them. The primary underlying theme of everything I teach is you get adjusted to stay healthy. and that becomes, you know, the ongoing. So whether it's emails we're sending out through our drip ed system, whether it's newsletters, whether it's handouts we're giving, whether it's the TV programs that are running in the practice, doing education, all of that in combination, it's all with that simple theme as you get adjusted to stay healthy, but it's a consistent message over and over and over and over and over, just like Coca-Cola has their message, just like Nike has their message, just like, you know, every program, every brand out there has their message. What is your message that you're giving? I have one more, and that is you want to eliminate the points in a practice where people make a decision. What I mean by that is that every time I'm going to go a little deeper here for a second. We've all heard this saying in practice that, you know, you got to plug the leaky holes in the bucket. You know, it's been a common saying, oh, I got to plug the leaky holes. I'm going to give you a new saying. This is Dr. Bodzin's new saying, and that is, let's have a bucket that doesn't have holes to begin with. And, you know, what the holes represent is, in that analogy, what do the holes mean? What the holes are is where people are falling away, where are they leaving the practice. And quite frankly, we've identified the places where people leave a practice are simply this. It's when people have to make a decision whether they continue with care or not. Every time they have to decide whether it's a conscious decision or a subconscious decision, that becomes an exit to your practice. And so tip number 5 is you need to have a meeting with your staff or by yourself and just sit down and figure out where are the points in my process, where are the points in my relationships with my patients that they have a decision to make. And I'll just answer the top 3 for you right now. The pain went away, the insurance stopped, and it's time to pay again. Those are the 3 categories of scenarios where people make a decision. The first 2, the pain went away and the insurance stopped, pretty much get neutralized when you put people on long-term care plans. So if you're doing long-term programs, you'll typically not have those 2 scenarios play out. The third one being it's time to pay again. Well, that's where we just talked about the whole idea of having people being on plans where you're automating the payments, you're not reminding them to pay. Those are the 3. But you can go through your practice and start thinking of other areas. Where are the places where you think stimulate the people deciding whether they're going to continue with care or not, or even starting care to begin with? So I guess the 5th tip I'm going to give you is you need to identify in your practice where it is people are having internal conversations with themselves, self-talk as to whether they can start care or continue care, and you need to address that scenario by either coming up with a way of not having the conversation to come up at all in their own mind, or so that the conversation they have in their own mind does not lead them to say, I don't want to do this. And once you master that stuff, you'll have a PVA in your practice, or I shouldn't say a PVA, I don't like that term. You'll have an average visit number in your practice, how many people coming in, or how many times the person comes in the hundreds.
Dr. Bodzin, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for all the information you gave us today. Thank you so much for what you've done for our profession and developing cash practice. If you want to tell everybody where they can go and find more information about cash practice, and go ahead right now. And
Absolutely, I'd be happy. You can go to cashpractice.com. You can go there and check it out and read some information. We even have a free mini course. You can put in your name and email, and you'll get a series of emails of educational material that you can just read and apply to your practice right away. If you'd like to get a demonstration of how cash practice works, certainly go ahead and contact us either by calling the phone number that's on the website, 877 343-8950, or you can email us at support@cashpractice.com. Is simply that'll go to our support ticket system and just simply say you're interested in getting more information. You can certainly visit us on Facebook. We'd love for you to become a fan of us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/cashpractice, and we have some great information on there. We're always posting stuff, and in fact, Dr. Brian, I think we have some photos of you on there from Parker that we were at. That's posted on there as well. So that's the first thing, and I also our fellow colleagues.
Well, great. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Bodzin. Again, this is Dr. Brian Capra with Billing Precision, and we're happy to bring you this great information. Again, you can see more about this video on our blog, on our Facebook, on our YouTube account, and hopefully share it with others.